Hey, good evening. Wixman Ray here. This is Sunday, April 26th, 2026. All right. So, got a pretty active pattern. If you guys been watching for the last few days, we've been talking about this. First off, just to get it out of the way, pretty quiet across the eastern third of the country from Indiana eastward towards pretty much all the way across. There are a few thunderstorms across Florida and southern Georgia. There was one storm here across southern Mississippi and Alabama, but that thing's dying down now. We got the sun setting out here, so that's why it's kind of going dark. But there were some lower clouds out across the mid-Atlantic into the Carolinas there behind this frontal system that went through. So, but they're done with the storms now. You can see out here in the middle part of the country, we got a upper level low, surface low reflecting down underneath it across the Nebraska area. Quite a bit of thunderstorms, especially from southern Iowa through Missouri into southeast Kansas and Oklahoma. These are more discrete or isolated cells. If you look real closely, you can see that fine line there. That's right along the wind shift or cold front boundary, right through there. So pretty cool to see that. And then back behind it, we got the convective, showery activity, mostly just showers, not too much in the way of thunderstorms back in this area. And that's on the backside of this low. And here's that next system with all the clouds and showers. Not quite as impressive back here, but that's your second system that's gonna be coming across the plains as we go Monday into Tuesday. So for the next couple days. So yeah, so we got a lot of cloud cover out here. We got this subtropical jet here running across northern Mexico into South Texas, or central part of Texas, and running through the southeast here. Looks like a storm. Most of the storm, if you look at the radars, out in the Mexico side, but kind of south of Del Rio, Texas. If you guys know where that's at, I can point that out here in a minute. That's what's going on satellite there. I thought I'd show you this view. We can look at the IR real quick too. Just kind of see. Yeah, pretty impressive. Pretty cold cloud tops out there with those thunderstorms. So yeah, pretty active out there, especially in the central part of the country, out through the west. All right, looking at our observations, courtesy of the Aviation Weather Center. This is part of NOAA, the National Weather Service, so they're doing a fine job there. Got a lot of precipitation across the north, rain up across North and South Dakota and Minnesota. And then we got some little bit of snow showers back into Montana here. Maybe some heavier band or at least some moderate bands in some of this. So they might be getting some accumulation out there. Looks like some rain and snow mixed across Wyoming and Colorado out here with those showers. And then kind of more scattered type showers across Northern California and Nevada with that next system out there, and kind of coolish in the 40s and 50s for the most part underneath those showers. 45 in Salt Lake City, they were reporting some light rain and even a little bit of precip up in the Pacific Northwest, although it's just kind of light stuff. But so pretty unsettled weather out there across the west. A little bit of gusty winds here and there. You can see that, some 30 to 40 mile an hour gusts. Definitely got some winds across New Mexico. I see some gusts up around 50 or so. They got a high wind warning. That's what these browns are across parts of New Mexico. So, yeah, so a little windy out there associated with this system, really, coming out through New Mexico. So that's what's going on there. Pretty quiet across Texas. There's those thunderstorms I tell you. This is Del Rio right here, where this observation, Del Rio, Texas. There's Air Force Base down there. So yeah, you can see these pretty strong storms. Looked like it was supercell earlier south of there. It looks like it's weakening now. Another cell farther to the south of Mexico, but don't look like they're making it into Texas. The only thing we got going on in Texas, we got this one up there just to the east of Wichita Falls. Looks like a supercell. They got a tornado warning on it right now, so kind of one or two discrete cells up there, causing some havoc there. with some warnings. We got a couple isolated slow cells across Oklahoma. Looks like a supercell up there across northern Oklahoma. Got some severe warnings upon that. Before I go show you the rest of the activity, pretty quiet. It's in the 80s there across south. Here's that storm that was down here, kind of southeast of Hattiesburg. It's kind of falling apart, so not much to report there. That should be gone for the night. Yeah, you got one pretty strong cell there across southern Georgia there, just to the west of Brunswick, St. Simon's Island area. So yeah, pretty strong cell there, and a couple other showers and storms isolated up across southern Georgia, even a little bit into the tip of South Carolina over there by Hilton Head. So yeah, that's a pretty nice area to visit, Hilton Head. Little pricey for some, but yeah. Here's a few thunderstorms across Florida. Nothing severe. There is one severe warning here down here, just kind of near the Pebble Beach area, or not Pebble Beach, Palm Beach area, just to the north. So a little bit of storms down there. So that's about it. So as we head up north, you can see these blues. That's just telling you you got some lower level cloud. That's what we were seeing on satellite as the sun was setting back here across the mid-Atlantic into the Carolinas. Even a little bit of not New Jersey, Pennsylvania. Yeah, it's not too bad. It's gotten up into the 50s today. Or well, it's turning night out there now. I haven't said it, but it's 8:30 Eastern time, 7:30 on the East Coast, and 5:30 out on the West Coast, and you can interpolate in between. So, yeah, so getting to be evening out there again. Once again, really nice across the eastern third of the country. A little bit cooler up to the north, some 50s up here, but 70s and 80s farther south. So, nice spring day out there. As we head north, we were talking about this. So, out there south of Chanute, Kansas, at Chanute, there's a supercell down there with some tornadoes going on, so watch out for those and a couple other stronger storms around that area, lifting up to the northeast, moving up, kind of towards the Kansas City area, but they should stay to the east. Some pretty significant weather here across um, Kansas here, not Kansas, Missouri, well south of the Kansas City metro, but had a couple tornado warnings, a lot of severe warnings. Looks like we had a good Boeing line with some, looks like probably some very strong winds, damaging winds. That's why they got those severe warnings going on across that middle part of Missouri there. So I heard a weird noise. That's why I stopped for a second. Still got a few rumbles of thunder just south of the metro of Kansas City, and then some stuff up near St. Joe, just south of St. Joe, kind of up in that area. Then north of there, it's mostly just rain, some moderate areas of rain, it looks like. Maybe a couple claps of thunder up there, but it doesn't look too unstable through there. Got a little bit of mist and fog out here, and got some those showers. That's the effect of that system coming out of the Rockies. A lot of rain up here across, South Dakota, North Dakota, in the 40s, even some 30s farther back. Here's that snow that we were talking about. So, yeah, did I already talk about that? Maybe I did. I don't know. I'm like having deja vu or something here going on. Something weird's going on with me. So, yeah, we are expecting a couple redeveloping lines, thunderstorms to move across Kansas tonight, and I'll show you that maybe into Nebraska, southern Nebraska. So I'll show you what we're looking at here as we go into later tonight. If you live in this part of the country, middle part of the country. All right, so that's that for that. I think I've covered pretty much most of the area. Yeah, back here, like I said, I think I covered this in the satellite. A lot of rain showers and snow showers up north. So yeah, so that's all we'll say there. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. Let's do this. So I've got what's called one of the mesoscale models, the high resolution models. This is the NAM 3 kilometer, as we call it, model. And these are kind of shorter term models. This one actually goes through 60 hours, this model. And I'm showing you the upper flow just so you can kind of see what's going on. Let's start over. This is roughly about, well, let's go forward in time a little bit. This is, okay, about right here. So this is roughly about right now. So what you're kind of seeing here is we got this ridge extending from, Louisiana, East Texas area up through Arkansas, Mississippi, into the Ohio Valley, and then up all the way up into Canada. It's got this ridge of high pressure. And that's what's causing the nice weather over here. We have these little troughs of low pressure. These are all kind of moving offshore. This is what was helping to cause some of those thunderstorms down in Georgia and Florida here tonight. But that's kind of moving eastward, and we'll see that as we go through this. And then you kind of see this. So we got this kind of southwesterly flow. This is a real favorable pattern for thunderstorms and severe weather across the plains. So that's why we're seeing that tonight. So. And we see a couple waves. So all this kind of speckly red stuff, this is the high res model, as we call it, the high resolution model, kind of trying to show you where it's kind of picking up on some of that convection, some of that thunderstorm activity. You kind of see it back here too, some speckly stuff. So that's what that is. This smoother stuff's kind of more of the where the actual trough, like shortwave troughs are. There's one up here, one back here across the west, one, a couple pieces of energy coming across the west and offshore of the Pacific. Yeah, you can kind of see that up here as this piece of energy across the northeast and some stuff out over the Gulf. So that's what we're seeing there. So what's happening here? We'll move through time here. So this little piece of energy here, you're seeing this right here in Nebraska, Kansas. This is going to spawn up another, according to the high-res models anyways, another round of thunderstorms tonight that'll move across this area and then through the end of Missouri into the Kansas City area late tonight, probably after midnight sometime or, shortly after midnight. And then, so that's what we see there. This is that initial kind of frontal system. So this is moving the stuff out east. That's over Missouri now into Illinois and back into Wisconsin. So, and then we see this other wave here. This is the main trough here out here in eastern Colorado, out through New Mexico. So that's gonna kick off a second. So we see that first round here late tonight through the overnight hours, and then this one will come through probably in the early morning across Kansas City area, and they'll be rolling through Kansas overnight too. So that's what the high res model is depicting, is a couple different lines of thunderstorms. Some could be strong to severe out there, so it's going to be, there could be some stuff some warnings that go out in the middle of the night. So some of you might get woken up by tornado sirens if there's tornado warnings issued, or just severe thunderstorms. So, protect your vehicles. If you have a place to protect them, if you have a garage, put them in there. Or if you have some sort of covering, try to protect your vehicles if you get some of those hailstorms, because those are definitely possible. And then here's this next system out here moving through Nevada and Colorado. Not Colorado, California. I said that a couple times now. And then we got this other wave up to the north over the northern Rockies, up into parts of the Pacific Northwest. So that's kind of two pieces of separate energy there. So that's on Monday through as we get into the middle of the day. And then as we move into Monday evening, so this energy pushes out and through the Midwest, and that'll extend down like into Arkansas. So that's where the severe weather threat will shift, is over into this area from Indiana over towards Illinois and parts of Missouri, the eastern part of Missouri anyways, and down into Arkansas. And that's what this trough here, this shortwave trough. And then, yeah, and then you're kind of seeing this. We might see a few thunderstorms out ahead of the front back here. We'll see what the models show. And then this is your second system back here that's moving across the west here, and that'll keep kind of rain and snow going on more of a higher elevation mountain type snow situation. So as you go into Tuesday, so this is going hour by hour. So by Tuesday morning, we got this trough moving, ejecting out of the Rockies, and we're starting to see that energy move out into the plains here. So we'll see what that's going to cause. I don't remember. I know down south here you see these speckles. That's kind of they're going to see some thunderstorms develop. Down this is the where the severe threat will be on Tuesday, and this is like Tuesday afternoon or Tuesday evening down here. That's why you're seeing all this speckly energy. So, and then we got another system coming on shore to California there late Tuesday. So, and then this one, this is that first one. So if we go back a little bit, you can see it up over the Midwest here tomorrow night or Monday night. Yeah, tomorrow night, Monday night. And Tuesday during the day, most of the energy moves up into Canada. A little bit lags back through parts of the Great Lakes and the Northeast. So there still might be some showers and storms or at least rain going on up there as we go through the day, later in the day on Tuesday. So then this just goes out a few more hours. So we can see by Wednesday, Tuesday night, this second trough is moving through the plains here, and that's going to push your system, eastward. So we'll see what it shows at the surface. So I just wanted to show you this high res model, just kind of give you a little taste of that. So let's see. I think is this the one I want? Hold on. No, that's not the. I'm just looking at the right one here. Let's see, is this the one? Yeah, this is the one I'm thinking about. Okay, so we'll start about right now. So this is roughly now. Whoops, sorry about that. So here's that first round of storms that's coming through Missouri now and just past through the Kansas City area. And then we see this stuff up north and from Nebraska and South Dakota into Minnesota here. So kind of watch what happens. So we see something popping up here, and this is about right before midnight. That's 5Z. That's about 10 o'clock tonight or so for the central time. So you see this line. So it looks like we'll see maybe a band coming through late tonight around midnight or afterwards for the Kansas City area, and then moving across towards the morning towards St. Louis. So this could be some damaging winds. A line of thunderstorms there, the way that's lining up. And then you see the secondary system. That's what that main trough. That's what the actual front, I believe. Anyways, so that'll come through maybe early morning, right around sunrise. About 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. So right after sunrise, and that may move through the Kansas City metro. So it looks like it'll kind of clip the far southern part of Nebraska, but mostly Kansas and Missouri there with these two lines. So watch out for those. Those could bring some severe weather, especially this first line. This line could. So even through the early morning hours, these could have some pretty strong storms going on with some gusty winds. So, and you can kind of see back here, we got a lot of rain. We got that snow kind of lingering back in Montana and Wyoming, even out here towards the mountains of Idaho. Kind of quiets down out here overnight, but then you kind of see you got some showers going on across to Utah and Colorado and Wyoming as you go through the day on Monday, a little bit back in central Nevada. So you can see this thing. So we're getting into, so you'll probably have some ongoing storms in the morning across these areas, Missouri into Illinois. But as we progress into the afternoon, that stuff will probably die out, and then we'll see some redevelopment out here from Iowa, Illinois, even down in Missouri, and maybe even southern Minnesota. So that's where we're going to see that severe threat. And you see those lines, there's a couple lines of them. That's the main line. So this is like about the evening time frame. It's going through Indianapolis, even just passing through Chicago area and St. Louis. So tomorrow afternoon, evening, watch out for Chicago, St. Louis, and back into Indiana especially later in the evening. So some severe thunderstorms possible, even down into Arkansas. They're possible, maybe even a little farther south. Looks like they reach down into parts of eastern Oklahoma there, especially late in the evening or at night. So, and this is kind of this front by Tuesday morning that kind of dies out, and then As we get into Tuesday during the daytime, not a lot of activity. Like I said, all the energy starts moving up here, but there's still some showers and thunderstorms across Pennsylvania and New York, maybe back into Ohio, maybe a little farther south of Pennsylvania. We'll see. But you can see it gets more and more spotty as it loses its as that main system moves up into Canada there. So, and then we see this redevelopment. So we got another wave, and that's that wave that was coming out of the plains here. So we're going to see some showers and thunderstorms break out Tuesday afternoon and evening. Whoops, across Oklahoma, northeast Texas, through the south down here, and even into southern Missouri and Arkansas. You can kind of see how that lines up. See, we get a low pressure forming right over like northern Arkansas, Missouri border area. And yeah, so could be some pretty strong storms. That'll move into Kentucky and Tennessee. So watch out in Nashville and Louisville and, all those parts of Kentucky, Lexington possibly, southern Illinois. So yeah, and that's as far as this model goes, and that's as far as I'll give you for tonight. But we'll talk about the convective outlook. I just wanted to show you that. It's kind of cool. And you can actually, just if you ever guys want to go to see this yourself, you can go to these regions. Let me show you something here. And you can, like, say, go to here, we'll just do the south central U.S. So you can kind of zoom in and get a better look. See, so this is showing you where, yeah, it looks like it's going to get rough through here. And this is what the models are showing. It only goes out, so you got to go to a different sector if you want to see what's over here, if you live over there. But that's easier to see too. So we kind of go back in time and see what it's doing. Yeah, see that? Those are those lines I was telling you about. This is the one that came through this evening, and then there's number 1, or line 2 if you want to call it that. Boom, right overnight after midnight. And then this one comes through in the early morning. So, so if you live out in these parts, you're gonna probably get woken up in the middle of the night by some, pretty intense lightning, especially if you're under these heavy bands. This one though looks like it could produce the most severe weather, especially damaging winds. And even, you could even get those little spin up tornadoes, those F1s or F2s, sometimes F0s, which we've seen a lot lately here in the Missouri and Kansas area, with these type of storms developing. So if you're a tornado warning, if you're woken up by one, take it seriously. Take cover if you have a safe place, go to it. Yeah. And then we got that line. So yeah, I just wanted to show you this closer scale if you guys ever want to check into that. And if you live out west, you can check this out and see, hey, is there something close to my area maybe? And these aren't like exact science, but these are generally pretty close. They're kind of depicting what they think's going to happen, and they're sometimes they're spot on, other times they're so, but they kind of get the general idea, especially when they're stronger systems. So anyway, so that's what's going on there. We'll look at our convective outlook real quick. So, and we'll just go through Tuesday since that's what I covered. Tomorrow we'll start talking about Wednesday and seeing what the threat looks like. So this is for the rest of tonight. That's our tornado threat. So this is where so still the best risk is across Kansas and to parts of Missouri, and then up into southeast Nebraska, parts of Iowa, and all the way down through Oklahoma and North Texas there, and even into what they call Dixie Valley, I guess, or Louisiana, Mississippi, I call it, in the Arklatex down through here. Pretty high tornado threat still for the rest of, good part of tonight, through this whole area. You see that hatch? That's a pretty good threat. And there's your wind and hail, pretty good threats, especially of hail. So that's for the rest of tonight through early morning. As we go into tomorrow, that threat really shifts into Illinois, Indiana, eastern Iowa, eastern Missouri, and down into Arkansas and parts of Tennessee, and clipping down towards northern Alabama and Mississippi. So, and then even up into southern Wisconsin, they might see a little threat, and that goes into Indiana, over towards Ohio, late in the period. So. Yeah, and then finally for day 3, which is our Tuesday, Yeah, that's like we saw down here across Arkansas, Tennessee, Kentucky, northern Alabama, northern Georgia, even down through parts of southeast Oklahoma and extended down through Texas a little bit. So watch out for severe weather down there on Tuesday. After that, it's a little bit of uncertainty. There might be a small threat on Wednesday, but we'll interrogate that a little more as we get into Monday. So we just want to get through these next couple of days. As there are going to be, some, serious storms out there, especially with the tornadoes. And when you see those supercells, I mean, take those things serious. I mean, not all of them produce tornadoes, but a good amount. I don't know if there's a percentage they've ever done, but a pretty good percentage of them can and will produce tornadoes, and some of them are strong, damage, destructive ones, F3, EF3s or above. I'm so used to F because that's what it was for many years. Like I said, I've been doing weather since 1990, so some of these younger guys were probably not even born; they were in diapers. Some of the guys doing meteorology now when I started, so yeah. Anyways, I just have to say that, but because I've been here a long time. So, anyways, hey, I appreciate y'all. I'll keep you updated. Um, and we appreciate y'all. Please like and subscribe, and yeah, let me know what you think to improve. I'm not super high speed like you see on some of those sites, and I don't have all the backing of these advertisements yet. I haven't been monetized, but hey, maybe one day we will. It's for me. This is my passion. So if I stay where I'm at for a year or two, that's fine. If I get big, then hey, that's great too. Maybe I can make this my retirement channel. So, anyways, I'll be doing it either or. So, anyways, and hey, we're almost to our what 4th month anniversary on May 2nd. So we've been doing this since January 2nd. This was my New Year's resolution, as I told many others. If maybe you haven't heard it, this is how this channel came to be. So, hey, please like and subscribe. I appreciate y'all. Y'all take care. Wixman Ray out.